is just a quick tutorial for how to use GeoGebra. To get to GeoGebra, it's geogebra.org. Okay, and you could, for what we're going to use it for, use this new version, the geometry version, or you could just do the GeoGebra Classic, and that is what I'm going to show you right now. Okay, so there's a lot that goes into it. It's sort of a graphing calculator, but we're going to, over here on the options, pick geometry specifically. So it should give you a blank screen. Over here you have options and settings. This is an undo. This is where you can save, although you do need to be signed in with an account. So for what you're going to use it for, you just got to know some of the basic tools and operations. You can make a point. You can, I believe over here, under the settings, under the options, set it under labeling. Should label and show a label. Okay, so that's point A, but it doesn't have to name all the points if you don't want them to. You don't have to show that. All right, you can make, under here we have a bunch of different objects like a segment. There's BC, DE. So D and E are the endpoints. G represents the length, which we'll come back to. You can make a line. The line will go on forever. You can, over here in this, you can make parallel lines. For example, I can make something that's parallel to this segment. You can see it's going in the same direction, and it goes through A. We can do perpendicular. So let's do perpendicular that goes through A. Oops. Must have clicked something. What else? We can make a polygon, like a triangle. So you just need to click 3 vertices, and then you have to click back to the original to make it a triangle. Okay, so there's our triangle. We can measure angles, and we can measure distances. Let's start with the distance. So right here, that's the centimeter thing. You can just click on a segment and it'll measure it, and it'll tell you it's 6.91. Or I can just click on that one. Or I can click on this one. You know, you get different lengths. I should point out that you can change these lengths with certain points. For example, I can take this arrow here and I can move things that I've already made. Now you're not going to be able to move everything, but everything that you just put by yourself, you're probably going to be able to move it. Now, one thing under the point menu is the midpoint. So let's say I make a midpoint of this segment right here. You'll notice that it's gray. You can't move it because it has to stay the midpoint. But if I move the length of the segment, K will move so that it's still the midpoint. But I can't move that one. It has to be wherever it is. So B and C, the blue points, I can change, but K is going to depend on where the midpoint is. Okay? And last thing I want to show you is angles. So you could select 3 points or 2 lines. For example, I can click this line. You can see it's slightly highlighted, and then I can click this line and a little green thing pops up. It's a little hard to see, so I'm going to use the arrow to move it. That is the measure of the angle. It's 83.69 degrees. However, if I move this point, you can see the angle changes. Let's say you want to make this font a little bigger. Click on the angle. Over here there's options. You can change the color of the angle. You can change the size of the angle. I can make it like, well, no, I guess that's how solid it is. We can make, I'm sure there's a font. Oh yeah, that's right. The font is under this menu. So let me close that. So going to font size, it'll change the font of everything. So we can make everything a lot bigger if you would like. Okay. All right, let's measure an angle a different way using 3 points. So I'm going to measure this angle right here. So I'm going to go J, I, H. Oh, I didn't click H. I clicked on an L. So I'm going to hit Control Z, or I can hit the undo. Let's try that again. J-I-H. There we go. And so that angle is 36.4. Now if you don't want the beta to show, you can change, well actually I want to show the measurement, but what I can do is under object properties I can change some things. For example, I can name it something else like angle JIH, and now it'll say that. Or I could, oops, I didn't mean to delete the angle. I could change it so it doesn't just say name and value, it just says value, and now it's just going to show the angle. Okay, so there's lots of things you can do with this. So I think that's enough to get you started. Alrighty then.